Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So many of these Vaishnava Acharyas come from the life and pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Locana Das Thakur is no exception. We hear so often that Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita go hand in hand so well together, because you have the literary Bhagavat and then you have the person Bhagavat, who exemplifies all of the teachings within Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's what we get within Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. A plethora of people who again and again and again exemplify all of the teachings within Srimad Bhagavatam. Locana Das Thakur took birth in a place called Kogram. He was born in a family of physicians. His father was named Kamalakara, and his mother was named Sadanandi. And 10 years ago, it was just around this same time, I had already chosen the name Sadanandi for my daughter, but I was looking at the calendar and it turned out that the appearance of Locana Das Thakur was kind of around the time of my due date. The due date came and went, and she decided to come whenever she decided, but I felt as though she was going to be looked after by, hopefully, by the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Locana Das Thakur, he appeared 34 years after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which means that he did not have that much time to associate with Mahaprabhu. What he did have was the association of stalwart devotees like Murari Gupta and Damodar Pandit. And it is from these two devotees and their accounts on the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he then compiled Sri Chaitanya Mangala. And Sri Chaitanya Mangala, first he hears from Murari Gupta's journals about the younger pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it impresses upon me the importance of us writing down our daily prayers and what happens when those prayers are answered. Because without these records of Murari Gupta, maybe we would not have had Sri Chaitanya Mangala. Without Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj writing these accounts down of Mahaprabhu's life and the goings on and different miracles that occur, we wouldn't have so much nectar about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Without Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur also writing down so many different accounts, we'd be bereft of such historical nectar. Incidentally, there was Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's account of the life and times of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that was actually also called Sri Chaitanya Mangala. So they brought both Sri Chaitanya Mangalas to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and they asked him to choose what the names should be. After looking over both, he decided that Locana Das Thakur's account should remain named Sri Chaitanya Mangala, and that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's account should be named Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. And so this is how we have these two accounts. And so Murari Gupta's own accounts later go on to be preserved and passed down throughout the assembly of Vaishnavas. But Locana Das Thakur was so inspired by the childhood pastimes, by the many, many naughty pastimes, by the charming pastimes of Lord Vishwambar, that he compiled so many of them into Sri Chaitanya Mangala. So it is my aim and my hope to read from two of those pastimes, and then to speak about one of his most celebrated bhajans. And as a person who enjoys writing, really, I feel inspired and enlivened and so just bolstered to whatever it is, whether we think it is a great realization or a small one. Write it down. Jayapataka Maharaj gave a lecture in New York once, and he asked all of the pujaris, he said, you all should be writing down the pastimes of the deities. We have the wonderful book about Lord Jagannath and Rajpur, these modern day pastimes of Lord Jagannath, even within Sri Mayapur Dham. But we wouldn't have it if the modern day devotees thought, these realizations are nothing big, let me not keep account. It's so impressive that Krishna is performing miracles every day, even within our lives. And it is so important, Jayapataka Maharaj himself was saying, that we write these down, that we become the record keepers of this Krishna culture. This is the way that we pass on this culture and that it gains new life, even today, so that Krishna's pastimes don't end. They're forever eternal and are forever showing up right now. So the first pastime is Narada Muni visits Lord Shiva in Kailash. And because Locana Das Thakur derives so much of these pastimes from Murari Gupta and Damodar Pandit's accounts, it's recorded as a conversation between the two. Murari Gupta continued his narration to Damodar Pandit while playing his veena and continually singing the glories of Gauranga. Narada Muni traveled around the world informing the demigods about Lord Chaitanya's appearance. Overwhelmed with spiritual rapture, Narada would fall down on the ground again and again. One moment he would cry, the next moment he would laugh loudly. His whole body would tremble, and he would speak in a faltering voice. Hiking up his dhoti, Narada would sometimes jump around excitedly, loudly roaring, Gauda, Gauda, Gauda. It was impossible for Narada to forget the nectarian love of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and the beautiful transcendental body, more dazzling than the sun that he had seen. Narada's heart was so full of ecstatic love that sometimes he couldn't even move. Nevertheless, within the twinkling of an eye, Narada Muni came to Lord Shiva's abode on Mount Kailash. Narada felt excited about his upcoming meeting with Mahesh. He was eager to tell him all about his recent experiences with Lord Krishna. Narada was thinking to himself, Krishna Bhakti is the most nectarian subject in the three worlds. In Kali Yuga, the Lord will reveal the treasure of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Ananta, Shiva, and Brahma are ever desirous of the pure love that the Lord will freely distribute to the fallen miscreants of Kali Yuga. Mahesh will feel great happiness when he hears the good news. By the mercy of Goddess Katyayani, I will take the dust of Lord Shiva's feet. By his grace, I'll get strength to chant the holy name. And what we know about Narada Muni is that he eventually also joins in the fun as Srivas Thakur. Thinking in this way, Narada Muni approached the door of Lord Shiva's home. Nandi, Lord Shiva's bull, was guarding the door of the powerful Lord Mahesh. After offering respects to the great sage, Nandi informed Shiva and Parvati about Narada's arrival. In a happy mood, Shiva and Parvati came out to greet the sage. Narada Muni, the most intelligent devotee, fell down at the feet of Lord Shiva and Parvati. Feeling ecstatic in the presence of such a Vaishnava, Lord Shiva immediately lifted Narada up and embraced him. In the mood of a loving mother, Katyayani said to Narada, "O great sage, please tell me, is everything all right with you? All the truths in the 14 worlds are known to you. On this most auspicious day, where have you come from?" Narada Muni said, "Goddess Katyayani and Mahesh, please listen to my wonderful story. You are like the mother and father of the universe. You always desire the deliverance of the fallen souls. Now, touching your feet, I will remind you of a confidential subject which you have forgotten. If you listen to my narration, then surely I will receive your mercy. Once upon a time, Uddhava inquired of Lord Krishna, 'My Lord, what will happen to the earth after your disappearance? Will any devotees remain here? How will the conditioned souls in the age of Kali attain liberation?' Replying to Uddhava's question, Lord Krishna taught the science of self-realization. He taught Uddhava a philosophy by which a person could attain liberation by seeing the Supreme Lord everywhere and in everything. Lord Krishna said, 'Uddhava, always remember that I am the water, the land, the earth, and the tree. I am the demigod, the Gandharva, and the Yaksha. I am the creator, and I am the annihilator. I am the life of all living beings. I am within everything, and at the same time, I am outside of everything.' After hearing Lord Krishna, Uddhava, striking his chest, expressed his feelings to the Lord. 'O Krishna, I am convinced that you are all-pervading. Your lotus feet are more dear to me than you yourself. I can't find the proper words to glorify the devotees who take shelter of the moon-like nails of your lotus feet.' At that time, Uddhava spoke this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. 'Simply by decorating ourselves with the garlands, fragrant oils, clothes, and ornaments that you have already enjoyed, and by eating the remnants of your meals, we, your servants, will indeed conquer your illusory energy.' Uddhava continued, 'Krishna, the ability of this Haridas to conquer Maya comes from eating your Mahaprasad remnants. Therefore, I always desire to receive your food remnants.' Narada continued speaking to Parvati and Lord Shiva. Hearing this conversation between Lord Krishna and Uddhava, I became dumbstruck. Although I myself have been on the path of devotion for a long time and have been constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord, still, I had no idea about the potency of Lord Krishna's Mahaprasad. Simply on the strength of the Lord's Mahaprasad, Haridas, Uddhava, had become a powerful, pure devotee preacher of the Supreme Lord. In the presence of the Lord, Uddhava praised that Mahaprasad. It's so interesting that now we seem to have unlimited access to the Lord's Mahaprasad. Srila Prabhupada has taught us a foolproof, safe way. As long as we simply chant just a few prayers before eating, somehow the Lord is invoked. He spreads his eternal, unlimited glance over this prasad, infuses it with his mercy, and then leaves the Maha for us. Now Narada is saying, I had no idea. I've been traveling and still I haven't been able to get this Mahaprasad. And all of us somehow in Kali Yuga have gotten it over and over and over again. Anyone, they show up at a temple, we give them some Mahaprasad. You are my Krishna's guest. Here, take some. What is the mystery? Within my heart, however, Sri Narada continued, I felt deprived because I had never tasted the Lord's Mahaprasad. Then I thought of how to please the Lord with my actions so that he would give me a taste of his Mahaprasad. With this idea, I visited Vaikuntha and rendered various services to Lakshmi Devi. Being satisfied with me, Lakshmi Devi affectionately said, "Tell me, Narada, what do you want? I will give you a boon." After hearing her offer, I decided to reveal my heart's desire. With folded hands, I told Lakshmi Devi, "For a long time, I've been feeling pain within my heart. Everyone knows that I am your servant, but somehow I never got the chance to taste the Lord's Mahaprasad. Please glance favorably upon me and give me the boon of receiving a handful of Lord Narayan's Mahaprasad. This is my only desire." Lakshmi Devi became astonished and surprised to hear my request. Then she submissively said, "Narada, Lord Narayan ordered me not to distribute his Mahaprasad remnants to anyone. How can I break the order of the Lord, my dear Narada? But listen, I will disobey his order and give you some. Considering my predicament, however, you must wait for some time. Then I'll collect his Mahaprasad for you." Fully understanding my situation, Lakshmi Thakurani appropriately responded with such sweet and compassionate words. Some time later, the Lord, in a jolly mood, took Lakshmi Devi by the hand and sat her down beside himself. At that time, Lakshmi Devi wanted to ask the Lord about the Mahaprasad, but she feared his reaction. In a very submissive voice, Lakshmi Devi said, "My Lord, I have something to ask you, but I'm afraid to speak. I have a problem, and I need your help. My Lord, please save your maidservant. Please listen, O abode of all transcendental qualities. I am holding your feet." Smiling slightly, with a sign of questioning in his eyes, Lord Narayan cast a glance toward his Sudarshan disc. Beginning to tremble, Sudarshan spoke humbly to the Lord. "My Lord, I don't know the cause, but it seems that Lakshmi Devi has a problem." Then Lakshmi Devi said, "It is not Sudarshan's fault, but Narada Muni's request has put me in anxiety. Although nobody knows it, Narada has served for 12 years. Being pleased, I offered him a boon. Narada repeatedly asked for the same thing. He wants nothing other than your Mahaprasad remnants. My Lord, although I have no power to disobey your order, I carelessly gave this promise to Narada Muni. Oh, my Lord, please save me and engage me in your service." Understanding her dilemma, Lord Narayan said, "Listen, my dear Lakshmi, you made a big mistake. Without my knowledge, you can secretly give my remnants to Narada." After some days had passed, the mother of the universe, Lakshmi, gave me some of Lord Narayan's Mahaprasad remnants. I honored the Mahaprasad to my full satisfaction. Of course, the incomparable effulgence of Lord Narayan's transcendental form defeats the combined brilliance of millions of moons and millions of suns, and his indescribable beauty puts millions of Kamadevs, Cupids, to shame. Yet, by the touch of the Lord's Mahaprasad, my own effulgence and spiritual potency has increased 100 times. Feeling intense spiritual ecstasy, I chanted Hare Krishna and played my veena as I traveled to Kailash to see you. Lord Shiva said to Narada Muni, "I must say, Narada, you look extraordinary. Tell me, why do you appear so spiritually surcharged and effulgent?" After hearing Narada describe his experiences, Lord Shiva scolded him. "Narada, after getting Lord Shiva, the Lord's Mahaprasad, which is rarely attained, you ate it all yourself without offering any to me. Out of affection, you have come to see me, but why didn't you bring any of this rare treasure?" Hearing Lord Shiva's statements of dissatisfaction, Narada hung his head down in shame. Then Narada remembered that he still had a morsel of Mahaprasad. With great delight, he quickly gave it to Mahesh. Immediately, Lord Shiva ate the Mahaprasad. Then, to everyone's surprise, Mahesh Thakur, Lord Shiva, began dancing uncontrollably in the joyous ecstasy of love of God. The earth trembled under the pounding of his feet. Everyone became amazed, seeing Mount Sumeru rocking back and forth in ecstasy due to Lord Shiva's powerful dance. Basumati, Mother Earth, was also rocking dangerously. Overcome by the bliss of pure love of Krishna, Lord Shiva totally forgot himself. His devastating dance threatened to drive the earth planet down to Rasatala, the bottom of the universe. This is my favorite part. The hood of Anantadev was stretching back to the point of touching the back of Kurma. Startled by this strange tickling sensation, Kurma poked his head out of his shell and stared at Anantadev. So we see that upholding the foundations of the very universe are both Anantadev and Kurmadev. And now they're glancing at each other in confusion. Lord Shiva's loud and euphoric roaring of the Lord's holy names bounced off the dome-like covering of the universe, reverberating throughout the 10 directions. Seeing the whole universe shaking in ecstasy and unable to tolerate the weight of Shiva's dancing, Mother Bhumi, earth personified, ran to Mount Kailash. With folded hands, Mother Bhumi appealed to Goddess Katyayani, "Oh Parvati Devi, please, I will die if your husband keeps on dancing. I see that the whole material world is also in great danger, so you better do something if you want to save the creation from destruction." After hearing Mother Bhumi's plea, Parvati rushed to the place where Pashupati, Shiva, the Lord of the living entities, was dancing in a trance of divine ecstasy. With folded hands, Parvati spoke some harsh words to break Lord Shiva's absorption. His ecstasy broken by Parvati's strong words, Lord Shiva regained external consciousness. Feeling very sad, he said, "Devi, what you just did is not proper. Why did you break my ecstasy? By doing so, you have practically killed me. You are acting like my enemy. I've never tasted so much bliss before in my whole life. Why did you stop it?" Feeling great distress, Parvati Devi spoke again with doleful words, "My lord, just see the earth before you. The weight of your dancing has pushed her down to the bottom of the universe. Because you are threatening to destroy the universe, I spoke such strong words to you. Please forgive me for my offense." With a smile of satisfaction, Lord Shiva pardoned his wife. Seeing her husband in a relaxed mood, Parvati humbly asked him a question. "Prabhu, every day you dance in the ecstasy of pure Krishna consciousness. Why is it that today your dancing has pushed the earth down to Rasatala? Your spiritual effulgence is as bright as 10 million suns. I've never seen you exhibit such a magnificent form. Please tell me, why is it that today you displayed such unlimited rapture in Krishna Prema?" Lord Shiva replied, "Devi, listen to the joyful news of my good fortune. Today, the great sage Narada gave me some of Lord Narayan's Mahaprasad remnants. Although glorified in the Vedas, Vishnu's Mahaprasad is inconceivably rare. In all 3 worlds, it is very difficult to get the Lord's remnants, which are mixed with the nectar of Sri Krishna's lips. Today, my life is a success. By the mercy of Narada Muni, I received the Lord Narayan's Mahaprasad. This is my real wealth and the source of my ecstasy." Noticeably disturbed by her husband's statement, Mahamaya Sri Parvati said, "For all this time, I thought that you were always kind and merciful to me. As husband and wife, we are one, for you have always accepted me as half of your body. But today, your false love is revealed. It is all just pretense. You've cheated me. After getting that rare attainable Mahaprasad, you ate it all yourself. You didn't even give me a speck." Shulapani, Lord Shiva, holder of the trident, feeling slightly guilty, said, "Oh Bhavani, you have no right to receive this transcendental wealth." These words inflamed Adishakti Parvati with furious anger. Parvati said, "One of my names is Vaishnavi, and I also have devotion for Lord Vishnu. Now before this assembly, I make a solemn vow. If Lord Narayan bestows his compassion upon me, I will make sure that the Lord's Mahaprasad is distributed to everyone throughout the universe, even to the dogs and jackals." At that moment, the Lord of Vaikuntha, Lord Vishnu himself, arrived in Kailash to uphold Parvati's promise. Respectfully, Parvati stood up and offered obeisances to the Lord, With tears in her eyes, she let out a sigh and told her problem to the Lord of her heart. In a joyful mood, Locana Das Thakur narrates this story. Murari Gupta continued speaking to Damodar Pandit. Then Lord Vishnu spoke in a sweet voice. Katyayani, don't be in ignorance. You are my Adishakti. And through you, I manifest the entire material creation. I know that you have devotion for me. You are my Prakriti Swarupini, the form of Vishnu's energy. You always engage in my devotional service. Without you, the material creation can't exist. The whole creation worships you and your husband, Lord Shiva, as Hara and Gauri, knowing that you both are my very self. Pleasing you removes the misconception that you and Lord Shiva are different from me. Please be assured that I will keep your promise. I will personally distribute my Mahaprasad to everyone in the universe. Lord Vishnu, the possessor of all jewel-like qualities, continued speaking. Listen, Katyayani Devi. Now I'll tell you a secret about an ancient episode which will alleviate the miseries of the material world. No one knows the inner meaning of the story concerning the demigods' churning of the ocean of nectar. They used Mandara mountain as the churning rod and Vasuki as the king of snakes as the rope. The first object they produced from the churning was a kalpataru, a tree which gives unlimited wealth and fulfills all a person's desires. Within that special tree, there was a transcendental effulgence emanating from the beautiful form of Lord Chaitanya, the supreme embodiment of pure mercy. There has never been a form or incarnation equal to the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He is the fountainhead of all incarnations, and he will appear in the world, displaying his transcendental pastimes. By preaching Krishna consciousness, I will distribute my mercy to the people in general. In the age of Kali, I will manifest the golden form of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu to propagate the Sankirtan Yagya, congregational chanting of my holy names. Taking the form of the golden avatar, I will fulfill your vow, Parvati, and give love of Krishna to everyone. Please keep this confidential topic secret. In the form of Lord Gauranga, the essence of all incarnations and full of all transcendental qualities, I will deliver all people in Kali Yuga. The preceding conversation between Lord Vishnu and Parvati Devi, which is called the Vishnu Katyayani Samvada, was taken from the Padma Purana. King Prataparudra, who was an ocean of transcendental qualities, distributed these teachings throughout his entire empire. Narada Muni continued talking to Lord Shiva. O Mahesh, the Lord ordered me to announce his upcoming appearance in Kali Yuga. At that time, the Lord and his eternal associates will descend to earth to remove all calamities. The Supreme Lord in the form of Lord Gauranga will appear in a Brahmin family. Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi became happy after hearing the good news from Narada. Bliss filled the home of Lord Shiva as everyone loudly chanted the holy names of the Lord. Sounds of Hari Hari vibrated everywhere. Playing sweetly on his veena, Narada Muni left Mount Kailash. So Mahamaya, who we often feel as though we are guarding against, is the reason that the entire universe gets Krishna Prema, the Lord's very own Mahaprasad. Even though we hear that Maya is very strong, we hear that just by a speck of the Lord's very own Mahaprasad, we can cross over that entire ocean of material creation. What a debt of gratitude we owe her for having the forethought to say, this Mahaprasad that was denied me, I now make a solemn vow, I will personally distribute it to everyone throughout the entire creation. The same Mahamaya continues to make another promise. She wants to have the very darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so she runs to Simantadweep within Sri Mayapur Dham and lays her plight before the Lord. She says, "My Lord, it is said that where there is Krishna, there can be no Maya. I have taken on the thankless task of being forever separated from you. But if you invent yourself as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and you spread the names of Krishna everywhere, I will never receive your mercy. How will I see your form? What will I do? What will become of me? I am forever your maidservant. What can I do?" She cries a torrent of tears. And as the Lord appears there in the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, she takes the dust from his lotus feet and places it within the parting in her hair. Lord Gauranga says, "You should know, you are forever my eternal energy. We are never separated. I'll tell you the secret of your real purpose, and I'll give you a special benediction." He tells her, "You are forever the protector of my holy dham. You and Mahadev should reside here on Simantadweep, and you should act as the guardians of this divine realm. For those who do not have love for me, keep them covered over as to the true nature of this place. Do not allow them to see my real pastimes. But for those who hold just a speck of love for me within their hearts, usher them closer to my lotus feet." With that, Parvati Devi took up her extra special service, and she and Mahadev reside as the Dhammapalas, the wonderful protectors of the Dham. And they make sure that for those who have just a little bit of love for Mahaprabhu within their hearts, Maya Devi no longer keeps us farther away from Krishna, but she now personally ushers us closer to the very Lord of her heart. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. One other story that I want to read from the Sri Chaitanya Mangala, the wealth of treasures and auspiciousness that Locana Das Thakur has compiled, is a very charming story from Sri Vishwambar's childhood. Lord Gauranga used to pass his time playing and enjoying many frivolous games with his friends. One day, they found a litter of puppies. Nimai picked out the nicest one. Nimai's friend said, "Look, Nimai, you chose the best puppy and left all the ugly ones for us. It's not fair. If you keep that one, then we're going home." Vishwambar said, "Come on, listen. I'll keep this puppy in my house and we can all play with him there." I find it so interesting that the Lord chooses friends who will berate him and chastise him and say, "If you don't give us what we want, then we won't play with you anymore." And in this way, lovingly, the Lord finds himself under the control of his friends and devotees. Nimai took the puppy home and tied it to a chair. Having just finished her duties, Sachimata had gone to bathe in the Ganges along with her friends. Vishwambar's friends came into the house and played with the puppy. They fondled the dog, rolled in the dirt with it, and laughed and joked. Suddenly, a quarrel broke out among the boys. Nimai took the side of one boy and found fault with the other. Gaurahari said, "Listen, every day you come here to play and you always start a fight. Why do you behave like this?" In defense, the boy said, "Well, you stole the puppy." Then he stormed out of the house. Seeing Sachimata returning from the Ganges, that boy said in a voice choked with anger, "Your son Vishwambar is playing in the house with a puppy dog. Sometimes he puts it on his lap or hangs it over his shoulder. Go and see for yourself." Sachimata quickly entered the house and saw Vishwambar playing with the puppy. In astonishment, she hit her forehead with her palm. "Vishwambar, what are you doing?" said Sachimata. "I simply can't understand your behavior. You have so many things to play with, but instead you play with this dog. You are the son of a very religious father. What will people say if they see you playing with a dog? This behavior does not befit a Brahman's son. It pains my heart to imagine how people will criticize you if they find out. Your form is so pure and wonderful. Why do you find happiness in smearing your body with dirt? Seeing you like this, I bow my head in shame and wish to die. Your body shines like fresh lightning, and your face is more beautiful than many moons. Yet instead of wearing your clothes, you cover your body with dirt and you play with low-class boys. Fuming with anger, Sachimata bit her lower lip and rebuked her errant son. Now, there is a very interesting phenomenon that happens very often with Indian parents. They have learned the art of chastising their children to extreme hyperbole. And we're going to see that even Nimai gets the brunt of this kind of chastising. Fuming with anger, Sachimata bit her lower lip and rebuked her errant son. Okay, Nimai, if you like that puppy so much, then take him to your room. Just forget about your mother and father and play with your dog. Here we have it. And there are so many times there are parents that will say, oh, that's it. You only care about your friends. That's it. Your parents will just die. It's okay. Just forget about them. And in this way, somehow they guilt their children into doing what they need them to do. But let's see what happens with Nimai. But the charming beauty of Gora's gorgeous and innocent face quickly dissipated Sachimata's anger. Adopting a joyful mood, Sachi Devi said, come, my darling son, get on my lap. I want to hug you and kiss your sweet smiling face. Now, just leave that puppy alone for a little while and go bathe in the Ganges. Besides, you must be hungry. It's already lunchtime. Why are you filling me with anxiety? Now tie up your puppy, take bath, and after lunch you can play with him again. Your face looks tired like a golden lotus withered by the scorching sun. A drop of perspiration like a pearl rests on the tip of your nose. Smiling, Vishwambar said, Mother, please watch my puppy while I take a bath. After cleansing the dirt from Nimai's body, Sachimata rubbed him with fragrant oil. Gaura Hari and his friends went to bathe in the Ganges. They laughed, swam about, and threw water on each other just like playful elephants do when bathing. Gauranga's golden body appeared powerfully built and as immovable as Mount Sumeru. Meanwhile, back at home, Sachimata untied Nimai's puppy and sent him away. One of Gauranga's playmates saw this and then ran to the Ganges to inform Nimai, Hey Nimai, your mother sent your puppy away. Nimai immediately ran home. Not seeing his puppy, Nimai's heart burned in anger. Feeling separation, he cried and scolded his mother. Listen, mother, you don't understand. Why did you do this to me? I feel very hurt. He was such a nice, beautiful puppy. How could you send him away? Playing innocent, Sachimata said, I don't know what happened to your puppy. He was just here. Maybe a thief has stolen him. Now stop crying. We'll search for your puppy and bring him back tomorrow. I promise I'll find your puppy. Now, please stop crying. After saying this, Sachimata wiped the tears from Nimai's face, put him on her lap, and smothered him with kisses. Then Sachimata pacified Nimai with kheer, sandesh, bananas, and other tasty sweets. Sachimata dressed her darling son. She tied his hair in a topknot and applied black kajal around his eyes. She wrapped a ruby red cloth around Nimai's nicely curved hips. She hung a pearl necklace around his neck. Sandalwood tilak adorned his forehead. Gold bangles highlighted the beauty of his wrists and ankles. Grabbing a sweet ball, Nimai ran outside to play with his friends. His walking defeated the pride of the king of elephants. His deep voice sounded as sweet as nectar. Nimai, the crest jewel among his Brahmin friends, looked like the full moon surrounded by a cluster of stars. The demigods felt great happiness to witness Lord Gaura's transcendental pastimes. And Locana Das is amazed to see that the Supreme Lord touched cats and dogs. The puppy dog attained the greatest fortune by the transcendental touch of Lord Gauranga. The dog gave up his bad habits and became Krishna conscious. One day, the dog just started dancing ecstatically while chanting the holy names, Radha Krishna, Radha Govinda. Hearing that a lowly dog was chanting Hare Krishna, the townspeople of Navadvip ran to see the miracle. Before everyone's eyes, the dog exhibited the bodily symptoms of ecstatic love of God. The dog was crying, his hair stood on end, and his entire body was covered with goosebumps. Suddenly, that most famous dog gave up his body. At that moment, a golden celestial chariot came down from the sky and carried that dog to Goloka Vrindavan. Topped with many domes, the chariot was lavishly decorated with pearls and dazzling gems. The sound of bells, gongs, conch shells, and kartals accompanied the divine singing of Gandharvas and Kinnaras, who were singing the glories of Radha and Krishna. Flags flapped atop the chariot, whose brilliance outshone the light of the sun. In his spiritual body, the dog was sitting upon a jeweled throne inside the chariot. His body, adorned with divine ornaments, looked more beautiful than millions of moons. The former dog was singing the glories of Radha Krishna and Gauranga. The Siddhas fanned him with chamaras as he soared back to Goloka. Lord Brahma, Shiva, Sanaka, and other demigods surrounded the chariot and sang Gauranga's praises. All glories to the ocean of mercy, the darling of Sachimata. Never before has he bestowed such mercy. He liberated a dog and sent him back to Goloka. The demigods continued, all glories to Gaurahari, the resort of the helpless. You are the best of all incarnations. By your mercy, the people of the age of Kali will attain salvation. What wonderful pastimes will you reveal in the future? When will we demigods become fortunate and receive your supreme mercy? Simply by your touch, a dog attained liberation. We've never seen such mercy, even in the pastimes of Lord Rishikesh, Lord Krishna. We hanker for your mercy, so we too can attain the same destination as that dog. O Gorarai, we bow down to your wonderfully glorious lotus feet. You always overlook one's faults and offenses. In this way, any fortunate living entity who takes shelter of you, Lord Gauranga, will attain Goloka. Repeatedly singing these glorious transcendental pastimes, Locana Das continually marvels at the divine incarnation known as Lord Gaurachandra. What hope is there for us hearing the pastimes of Lord Gaurachandra, feeling so magnanimous toward a puppy that he gives him ecstatic love of God. And even a puppy can perform the greatest kirtan of Shri Radha Krishna and Radha Govinda. That puppy has become my spiritual master. If only I could sing Radha Govinda's names as nicely as that puppy one time. But it gives us such supreme hope. Mahaprabhu is waiting just to deliver us all. Lord Gaurachandra has appeared. Shri Radha Murlidhara ki jai. Shri Gaurachandra ki jai. He's appeared just to bring happiness to all of our hearts. Just to give us that priceless jewel of his very own Mahaprasad in the form of his holy name. How merciful is Lord Gaurachandra. And without Locana Das Thakur, who would know if we would have all of these wonderful pastimes? So, this wonderful bhajan of Paramakaruna, I'll save because the Bhakti Center is having a wonderful month-long celebration in honor of Lord Nityananda Prabhu during the month of February. And on the 20th, that morning, Badahari Prabhu and myself, and we just spoke about this a few days ago, we'll also be diving into that beautiful bhajan then. So I hope that you all join in and hear what Badahari Prabhu has to say about this wonderful bhajan that was so dear to Srila Prabhupada, and how we can somehow dive into it and sing the glories of Lord Gaurachandra and Lord Nityananda and attain the same mercy that Srimati Parvati Devi vowed that she would personally make sure got distributed to everyone. The same mercy that was given to a little puppy in Navadvip. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mother Acyuta Gopi. At this point of time, if anybody would like to share an appreciation or a reflection, please feel free to unmute yourself and share your appreciation.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for this class. It was just so sweet to listen, and I was just very very moved by like this whole image of Lord Chaitanya embracing a puppy, and like this whole sweetness of like chastisement of parents, and how it's yeah, I mean, I just find it so beautiful, and truly we should all strive to have this beautiful bhajan like that puppy. I wonder what the name was. I kind of would like to like take shelter of that soul. Thank you so much. It's really, I feel very inspired and very honored that at the Bhakti Center we actually have, you know, Sri Gaurachandra, and we can pray to him and be closer.
Interestingly enough, Sri Krishna has 2 pet dogs eternally. Their names are Vyajra and Brahmaraka, respectively, Tiger and Bumblebee.
And I heard about the bear, right? Did he have like a pet bear or something like that?
He has a lot of pets.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he has a pet bear, but he keeps a lot of pets.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Mother Acyuta Gopi. Thank you for this wonderful class, inspiring everyone to think of Gaurchandra and thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Acyuta Gopi Mataji ki jai.
Shri Shri Radha Murlidhara ki jai, Shri Gaurachandra ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.